We begin the current Daf, Mesech Kesuvos Daf Pei Vav. We begin 14 lines down at the top of the Yomit. But the Gemara continues with another teaching of Amema as it relates to the halacha of our Mishnah, which we're speaking about these halachas, of course, the theme of this Mesech Kesuvos, relating to the halacha of if someone dies and he leaves over a woman and a creditor, regarding how do you go ahead, how do you proceed. That was the topic of our Mishnah 2 dafim ago, and that's the Gemara continues with the teaching the Maimer on that theme. Some things discussed in today's daf are the forms of payment in the case of mandei kolek Kesuvos isha b'chayv, which is really the theme of our Mishnah. If someone has a creditor and he has a woman that he owes a ksuba to, how does he go ahead and pay them up? Let's say someone has his wife as the storekeeper, or Shemina Petrapa, he appoints her as a caretaker, a manager in this company. He can make her take an oath whenever he wants her to. But we have a machlekes regarding regarding if on her spindle or on her dough, meaning even regarding household chores, could even make her take a shvu b'did that she's doing what she has to be doing. When the Gemara discussed regarding the cases of in the Mishnah after that of kasab neder shvu inli alayach. If the husband tells the wife, oaths and vows, I have no rights on you. What type of oath is that talking about? Regarding whom does that apply to? Her Yershim, him, his Yershim, and so on and so forth. So we begin the current Daf, Pei Vav, 4th line down at the top of the Yomit, where we continue with Amar Meimer. And we had mentioned Meimer just in the previous teaching when we were talking about Dina Digarmi, which related to Halacha of Shmuel, which we had from the previous Daf. If someone has a shtar chayiv and he's meichel, it's going to be malchel. Now we're doing another teaching, again related to the halacha of a Mishnah of Amar Meimer b'shmid Rav Chama. He says, Haiman de'iko le'al Kesuvos isha b'chayv. If somebody has two things he has to pay up, he has the ksuba of his wife, and he has a creditor. So ve'isli ara ve'isli zuzi. If he has both land, real estate, property, and he has money. So halacha is like this: the creditor he pays up with the money. With the woman he pays up with the land. Why is that? So the Gemara explains. Hi kidine, the borrower borrowed money, so the payment to the lender should be with money. But hi kidine, and the woman is like her halacha, which is that she's relying on the lien of the property, which in general a woman, for the ksuba, the shibud of the karka is what she relies on, because she didn't give him any money. This that he owes her is from the ksuba, and the lien is on property. I says Rashi, what are you going to do with the nichsei tzarn barzel? Let's say the woman brought in what's called the properties of the iron sheep, which are movable items, which are also evaluated and put into the ksuba, and he has to give her that also. So on that says Rashi that the husband gets rights in them right away. And this that he combines it with the ksuba is on the shibud karka also. So essentially, whatever she's getting paid out from the ksuba is really somehow shibud karka. She's really relying on the shibud of the karka. So therefore, that's why it makes sense. He's going to get the monies and she's going to get the karka. Now, what happens if viloy ika il chadara, but he only possesses land that's sufficient for one claimant, and meaning that's only has one land, it's only fit for one, meaning you could only pay one of them. That says the Gemara, then you're going to give it to the creditor because of the halachic principle known as shalitinal delas. We don't want to close the door from people lending money because if people's going to say, I'm not going to get my money back. We want to give priority number one to the lender getting his money back. Now, you don't give it to the woman. What's the reason? Meaning to say that generally we're concerned for the woman also because of china, because we want to find favor in the women's eyes that they're going to go ahead and get married. So that says the Gemara, no, even though there's chinam, but more than the man wants to get married, the woman wants to get married. She has more, so again, even though we had mentioned that the men were getting older, weren't getting married, there's the idea of china, but it's still not as critical as that of Latinal Delis. Now Rashi just points out, this obviously specifically if their documents were written on the same day, so then no one has precedence regarding the time of the documentation, then we say that, okay, we're going to give it to the creditor. But obviously if her ksuba date was before the creditor, then she's going to collect and not the creditor. Continues the Gemara on a related theme, Amalei Papa Rav Chama. Papa said to Rav Chama, which is the form of a question. He says, Vadai, is it true what I heard that you say this wondrous teaching If someone is that they're trying to collect by him money, this and he has property. Now his creditor comes along and saying, you owe me this money, pay me up. And the debtor says, okay, Zil should come out or take my property, I have on Honey Street, take that house. We tell him, no, Zil Zavanat, you sell it, the Icy Havle, and you go ahead and you give him the monies. Which is that we make the borrower go through the effort to sell it. So Rashi explained the Gemara's question, as you just said a moment ago, a related teaching, but a lender, his primary reliance is actually on the real estate. So there, although we said regarding when his money is in karka, we give it the karka to the isha, and the lender to the money, but generally, the debts are, people rely on collateral. The collateral that's primary, especially Tabari Tam, was real estate. So what do you tell me that he has to go and sell it? What do you mean? The lender is relying on the property. Why do I have to go sell the borrower the property to pay him up? So this was what he was asking, that I heard you said this teaching. He says, not true, I never said such a teaching. So he says, okay, then tell me exactly what was the story, because I heard that you once required a borrower to sell the property and he couldn't just pay it up with it. So Amalei said, that's a different story. That was that story was, he had money to pay up, but he was saying that this property is owned by a non-Jew. It's not mine. Oh, so who also Shleik he did inappropriate by trying to shirk his responsibility, saying, oh, that's Charles. Charles owns that property. That's not mine. I have nothing to do with that, and it's really his. So therefore they treated him also inappropriately, and they made him go through the effort of selling it. But you're right, in general, the borrower does not have to sell the property. He could just give it to the lender. That was only an extreme case, because he did Shleik so they did to him Shleik Continue on the similar vein, Amalei of Kanla Papa says, according to you that you say Mesech this Erech and Nafchan Bezim and Alf, that Priyas Balchay mitzvah, paying up to the creditor, is a mitzvah. I mean, he has a mitzvah to pay up his debts and to make his words true. Like the pasuk says, Hin Tzedek, which the Gemara in Bab Metzid Daf Memtes says, your hen, your yes, should be tzedek, should be justice. But your lab should also be tzedek. So therefore, there's a mitzvah to pay up your debts. Some people think you could borrow money, you don't have to pay back. No, he holds Priyas Chayv is a mitzvah in its own right. So according to you that you say it's a mitzvah, let's say Amar Lo Nichali David mitzvah. What if someone says, I don't want to do a mitzvah? What's the halacha going to be? Yes, there's a mitzvah to pay up, but I don't want to. I want to borrow $10,000 and I don't want to pay up. So Amalei said to him, Tanina, we learned this in the Brisa. The Brisa says, but when we say this, that a person gets 40 lashes for a biblical prohibition, that's the mitzvah's license. It's a negative prohibition. A person violates an isser in the Torah license. They bring him to court and we give him shmas, and we hit him, we give him 39 lashes. But that's for a negative prohibition. Of the mitzvah, I say, but by a positive commandment. Could go in Sharmalei, tell him very appropriate in Yom Diyama, Asa Sukkah. Make a sukkah, says, very nice, I'm making a sukkah, I schlepped this boards and this and that. Tell him to make a lulav, get a lulav. Very nice, says, I'm not interested in doing this. What's Allah? Continue the base says the Brisa. Makanaisai. We hit him, which Rashi explains, meaning before he violates the positive commandment, which he still has the ability. That's in these days. The guy comes to the Rav and he says, you go to lulav, I am not. You take him, you hit him, until his life leaves him. Then you force him until he's dead. So, what he was answering was, according to me that I hold Priyas Balchayv mitzvah, that yeah, you do the same thing. The guy borrowed $50,000, doesn't want to pay. It's a mitzvah. We get him over the head until he goes ahead and he pays up. It's not talking about after you violate the asay. If the asay is already violated and there's no way of remedying that, then you don't do that. That's what I'm about to say. But beforehand, if a person has the ability, then the Allah is going to be makar nesei achateitz and nafshe. Continuing on the related theme of our Mishnah, the Gemara continues, He had the following question. If a man says to a woman, his wife, he says, look, we're done, this marriage is over, here's your get, but like this guy, I have some reasons, taxes, who knows, whatever it is. I don't want you to be divorced with this. I want you to take effect after 30 days. Okay. Now this woman went, she placed it on the sides of the public domain. Whatever it was she had, why she put it over there, she put it on the sides of Rishus Rabbim, and it was still there after the 30 days. What's the halacha? Is she going to be divorced with that get that's on the sides of the Rishus Rabbim when 30 days comes? So Amalei said to him, she's not divorced. Why not? Because the Rabbi Shloimy Schwartzberg, this is where it relates back. Why is this coming in? Because they both said regarding the halacha of our Mishnah. If you recall from 2 dafim ago, we had this machlekes Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Tarfon. Now, according to Rabbi Tarfon, if the husband leaves over payers solution, if the father leaves over detached payers, we said that if there's orphans, there was a creditor, and there was an isha for ksuba. We said kolakoidim zacha, whoever gets there first is going to have the rights to it. Meaning, the assignment don't automatically get it. So Rabbi Shmuel both explained that that's if it's piled up and it's placed in the public domain, versus if it was in their property, obviously the orphans would get the paid solution. And therefore the creditor and the wife cannot come and grab it away. We're talking about if it was in the street. So obviously we see that if it's in the Rishus HaRabim, the owners, which are really the orphans, are not going to be kinded at all, only if it's by them. Meaning, or if they pick it up, they do some type of a kinyan. So therefore explains Rav Chisda, Mitzidei Rishus HaRabim, and the sides of the public domain, which is near the walls, which people don't usually walk over there because they're going to scrape themselves on the walls. That's also Rishus HaRabim. That's also like the public domain. Oh, so therefore this case of the woman who got the get, and that after 30 days it's supposed to take effect. After 30 days it's not in her domain that it should be her, that her gerushin should take effect. He's saying that the sides of Rishus HaRabim is just like the Rishus HaRabim. Rishus HaRabim is not yours, just like the orphans, their father left over a whole bunch of payers. It's really theirs, but they can't acquire it because it's not in their Rishus, it's in Rishus HaRabim. So he's saying it's not theirs. So the woman, where the get has to be in her possession, after 30 days, if it's on the sides of Rishus HaRabim, she's not going to be divorced, because you see that Rishus HaRabim is not something that's going to be kind of for the person, and the sides of Rishus HaRabim are the same thing. That's what Rav Chisda responded. So that asks Rabbi Barchama, Adrabah, to the contrary, no Mugudesha, she should be divorced. Why? From a different teaching, with Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says, if someone says to his friend, Moshech Parazu, here, do Mashiach, pull this cow, which is a kinyan, but I don't want to be acquired for you ad lacha shleishim yom. So do the ma'isa kinyan right now, pull it now, but the actual kinyan, extra acquisition, should only be after 30 days. The kana, he acquires it, and even on day 30, when the kinyan is supposed to be, it's in the swamp, which is no man's land, you're still going to acquire it then too. My love, isn't it that Hainu Agam, behind me, that a swamp is the same thing, like the size of the public domain. So therefore, you see that you should be able to be kind, even though it's not in your Rishus. And he says, no, it's not true. Agam l'chud, but tzidi Rishus HaRabim l'chud. No, marshland is one thing, and the size of the Rishus HaRabim is something else. And that is, no, the size of Rishus HaRabim is like Rishus HaRabim, therefore it's not going to be kind. But an Agam is not Rishus HaRabim, and therefore it would be kind of a person, in that case of the Para. So therefore, that's one version of this conversation between Rav Chisda and Rabbi Barchama, that the woman's not going to be divorced from the teaching of Rabbi Shmuel, because Tzid Rishus HaRabim is like Rishus HaRabim. Agam is different. Agam is not such a public domain, and therefore you would acquire it. But the Ikram that those have the version the other way. That Omalei, what did he answer? He actually answered Muguresha, she is divorced. And it was coming from the teaching of Rav Nachman. That we see that if it's in the Agam, the cow at day 30, it is going to be effective. And because with Tzid Rishus HaRabim, it's Agam Dami. It's like a swamp. To which he asked, Adrabah, to the contrary. Eina Muguresha should not be divorced. It's the inverse of the first side. Midid Rav Shmuel. That my lab, just like we find Rav Shmuel, Hainu Rishus HaRabim, that when it's in the public domain, it's not going to work for the Yarshim, for the period solution. Hainu Tzid Rishus HaRabim, the side Rishus HaRabim is the same thing. To which he said, no. In this version, he's saying Rishus HaRabim l'chud. Yeah, the public domain is not going to be effective, but Tzid Rishus HaRabim l'chud, the side Rishus HaRabim is different, means to say that it will be effective, and because it's not like Rishus HaRabim, it's actually more like an Agam. So that's two different versions regarding if he held in this case that should be Muguresha now, which again related back to Halacha B'Mishra regarding the Yersh, regarding prayer solution, in the Halacha B'Tarfim, which we said is not going to be effective, which we said that's only when it's in Rishus HaRabim, and the question was, are we saying that Tzid Rishus HaRabim is like Rishus HaRabim or not? Now we get to the Halacha, the next Mishnah, which continues on this theme about the woman with her ksuba, but also regarding the rights, which goes into the next Mishnah, regarding the rights that the woman has and regarding the husband's ability to get what he needs from the wife. It says the Mishnah, if a man appoints his wife to be the storekeeper, to sell his wine and his produce in the store, or he appoints her as the caretaker, the manager, the CEO, to go ahead and to do the bookkeeping, whatever it is, but to hire workers and to do all the business dealings. So the halacha is, says the Mishnah, is a mashbiyah. He can make the wife take an oath, that what she's swearing about, that she did not hold on to anything from the business, meaning to say she's busy with all these different things, she can write a check for whatever, for the store, for this and that, with other things that she wants to do. This is the company. You make her swear, calls man shiur, so whenever he wants to, swear to me that you didn't take anything inappropriately from the company. Rabbi Eliezer, he says, he said even he could compel her to make an oath that even that she did her chores, like with her spindle and with her dough regarding sewing and baking, all those things also, he can make her take an oath. Now, the Gemara says, the following question. This teaching of Rabbi Eliezer, when he says that he can make her swear for her chores, not even for the company, just for what she does at home, was that all the Gilgul Kamar? We know there's a concept called Gilgul Shvuah, which means to say that you could make, once you make someone take an oath, you can then devolve, you can make them roll onto them another oath, even though you didn't have the rights for that oath. Meaning, as Rashi explains, according to this side of the question, Eliezer heard that the Tanna Kama said that you could make this apotropos, as you appointed your wife, the CEO of your company, you can make her take an oath, but not on her home chores, even through Gilgul Shvuah of the apotropos. Why? Because since the oath of this apotropos, of this caretaker of the wife, is rabbinic, why is it rabbinic? So Rashi says because he's not making a definitive claim against her. He's just saying, I want you to swear to me that you didn't take anything from the company. So you can't make a Gilgul Shvuah through that to make some other oath of, like, did you do the chores at home? Because that's not a biblical oath. Now, Rabbi Eliezer came along and he said, no, it's not true. If you made her the storekeeper, then since you can make her take the oath of apotropos, then you can also make her take an oath through Gilgul for her home chores too, because you could make this rabbinic Gilgul of the Shvuah. That's option number one. Just as Rabbi Eliezer said, you can make her swear, did you do the laundry? I want you to swear to me you did the laundry. Don't tell me that this is clean laundry that's in this bucket. This wasn't here, the same one from yesterday, and I just don't know the colors of or what's considered clean because I lost my smell from COVID. No, I want you to swear to me that you did this. Is he saying it through Gilgul Shvuah? Because she works for you in the company too? And since you can make her take that oath, you can make her take an oath for this too? No, I look at Chilakamer. No. Even if he didn't appoint her as a caretaker, initially, he can make her take an oath regarding the sewing. Say, did you stitch the kid's clothing? This that it has a tear. I don't know. Did you do it or not? Because, like Rashi says, she's always an apotropos. She's always the caretaker of the home. So can you take this that he's saying that he can make her swear, not like Tanna Kama, on Pilcha B'Asasa, is that only through Gilgul Shvuah, or is that no? Any wife, you can say, I want you to swear to me that you're taking care of the chores at home that you got to do. Says Gemara Tashma Tzving Arayah. The Brisa says in elaboration of this machlekes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Tanna Kama. So Amalei Rabbi Eliezer, that the Chacham and the Tanna Kama who disagrees and says you don't make her swear for Pilcha B'Asasa, said to Rabbi Eliezer, how can you tell me that a husband can make his wife swear that did you bake today? Did you do the laundry? Did you do carpool today? Ein Adam Dar Im Nachash, a person, meaning referring to the woman, to the wife, cannot dwell with a snake, meaning the husband. That's nice slang over there. B'chfifa, in a box, meaning in one box. That's what they said to him. That how can you tell me that the husband can make a wife swear about her baking and her sewing? That was what they said. So the Gemara is going to prove to explain which one of the options Rabbi Eliezer is. If you say that Rabbi Eliezer's opinion was that any husband can tell the wife, even though she doesn't work for him in the company, he could make her swear, I want you to swear to me that you did the home chores. Oh, it's a Shabbat now. It makes sense what they were telling Rabbi Eliezer, that a woman's going to tell him, you're making me swear regarding my sewing. I can't live with such a husband. Everything he's going to make me swear regarding if I did the home chores. So it makes sense what the Chum is saying. You can't tell me that a husband can make a wife make such an oath. But if you say it was option number one in our question, that Rabbi Eliezer is making the wife take an oath even on her sewing and her baking, is only if she's also a CEO in the company. And once he's making her take an oath for that, which the Chum agreed to, then we can make her take an oath for other things too. So my nafka, let me know. What does it bother her so much? She anyways has to swear for the shiur of the apotropos of the company. So what's the difference? What she's swearing, she'll swear that yes, and you know what, at home also, yes, I didn't hold back anything either. I didn't not bake or not stitch or whatever this and that. What's the big deal? So the Gemara says it's not a raya. It could be even that the halal, like it was going only through Gilgal Shvur that he allows him to take her the oath. And so what's this Einu Darim Nachash B'Kviva Achas? Because the Amalei, she could tell him, Even the Kedaikis Basroi Kulehai, you're so particular that you everything I do, you'd go over with a fine-tooth comb. So obviously, you don't love me and you don't trust me. I can't live with such a person. So even if she's a CEO in this company and he's making her take an oath for that, no, Chum said even for Gilgal Shvur we wouldn't let a husband make a wife take an oath, because everything I do, you have a detective, you have a private eye on everything I'm doing and checking and every dotting I's and crossing T's. I can't live with such a person. So it's not a raya. It could be that Rabbi Lezer Halach was only to Gilgal Shvur and still Chum would disagree. Simon says, okay, Teshuvah, let's bring another raya. The Brisa says, if a woman, if a man did not exempt his wife, min hanedu or min hashvua, he didn't, which is actually the theme of the next mission we're going to say. He didn't write to her that I have no rights to make you take a neder or a shvua. Now, a shvua we know. What's that meaning? Because as we'll see, that's really the shvua that we're talking about in our Mishnah. What's a neder? A neder is that she takes a vow to him that I'm going to prohibit all the payers in the world if I held on to any of your stuff. As the Gemara says again, Hamdal and Beis, that at one point they used to make her take an oath, swear. But then they stopped making oaths because a shvua is a very severe thing. So Hazak was masakin that instead she should take a neder to the Yisayimim, whatever they want, and then she could go up to Kesuvos. So instead of swearing that I didn't, because the oath is very severe, so then just take a vow on stuff that you can make it prohibited if you really did have it, and then go ahead and collect. But be that as it may, says the Brisa, if someone did not let his wife off the hook from a neder and a shvua, and like the halacha of our Mishnah, he appointed her a storekeeper, or Shemin Abatrabo, he made her a caretaker. So Hareza Meshbiya calls man sheyirtza. Says the Tanakama, okay, then he can make her take an oath whenever he wants to, because of what she's working in the company, and she thinks she could go ahead and use whatever she wants, which she's not allowed to. Now, lo yeshiv but let's say he did not make her a storekeeper, but lo Shemin Abatrabo does not make her a caretaker. Then says the Tanakama, in your chalashbi cannot make her take oath. On that, Rabbi Yomi says, and this is going to answer the question clearly. Even if he did not make her into a storekeeper, and he did not appoint her a caretaker, he could make her take an oath whenever he wants to answer the question. We wanted to know, is it only in the case of the chenbanis and we're going to have a trumpet, then he can be magalgal the shmuel and pilcha v'esasa, or is it even the regular housewife? Here he's saying clearly, even if she's not a storekeeper and she's not a caretaker, he could make her take an oath. And the reason that is because there is no woman that essentially is not a caretaker, at least for one moment her husband's lifetime. So even though she's the CEO of the home, she's got to do the incoming and the outgoing, everything that the food that's coming in and the garbage is going out. She's running a company of the house for her spindle and for her dough. They said to him, no, a person cannot live with a snake in one basket, which is how can I live my life? I know my husband can make me take an oath for every shrit and trit what I'm going to do. But at least says the Gemara, we infer from this. Look at Chila. Obviously, Rabbi Lezer Halacha was initially even on any housewife, Shmamina, not just on the woman that's also the CEO of his company. It's not through Gilgal Shvur. It's through Chila to be able to go ahead and make her take an oath. Now, actually, related to this theme that we just spoke about regarding the previous Mishnah, what we just mentioned from the Brisa, regarding the woman that has an obligation of an oath, and then we said that what happens if he tells her you don't have to take one? So that's the theme of our next Mishnah. Cause of law, let's say the husband writes to the wife like this: Neder u'shvua ein li alayich. Neither oaths nor vows do I have any rights on you. Then says the Mishnah, ein yochel hashbi, he cannot make her take an oath. Now the Gemara is going to explain which oath are we talking about that he's letting her off the hook. Well, a wife is obligated to swear to her husband for what? But al kapanim, that's what we're saying, that if let's say he writes to her, I don't have any oaths and vows on you, then he cannot make her take an oath. But mashbihu as Yershaha, but he can make her Yershin take the oath. What's that case? If let's say he divorces her, so then he already owes her the ksuba. Then she dies, and now her inheritors are claiming the ksuba. So the Yershin have to take an oath, which is explained in Masechta Shavuos on the and Al. What are they swearing? They don't know anything. This is from the mama. They swear that our mother didn't tell us anything when she was dying. And neither did she tell us beforehand. And we didn't find among her documents that this document of her ksuba was paid up. That's what they swear. They only swear that they don't know otherwise. And then they go ahead and they can collect her ksuba. So in this case, although he wrote to her, I don't make a neder shvu on you, but that's only on her. But her yarshim, he could make them swear the shvuas hayarshim, which we just mentioned, when they come to collect the ksuba. And so to Vesabar Meshusa, all those that are coming with her rights, meaning, what does that mean? So let's say she sold her ksuba to someone else, and then she got divorced, and then she died. The lekuch is the one who bought the rights of ksuba, is coming to claim it from the husband. They also have to swear the same type of shvur that Yerushim make, which is, we don't know, we were never told, it was paid up, this and that, and yada yada. That's what they go ahead and they swear that, and then they could go ahead and collect, but they got to swear in this case. Now, continues the Mishnah with another case. Let's say, however, he says, Neder shvur, an oath and a vow, ainli alecha, I don't have on you, va'al yoshecha, neither on your inheritors, neither va'al bam b'shasecha, those who come in your rights. Then then they cannot make her take an oath. Lohi, not her, v'lo yosher, not her yarshim, v'lo not those who come with her rights. Avol, but, says the Mishnah, Yershim must be an Isa. He cannot make them take an oath, but his Yershim can make her take an oath. Ves Yersheha and her Yershim, Ves Abar Meshus and those who come within her rights. Meaning, if let's say she gets widowed, up until we're talking about when she was getting divorced, so the husband's alive, and it can't be that she's not alive, because if she wasn't alive, that she just died. If she wouldn't get a ksuba, tomorrow she was divorced and then she died. So then she has a ksuba. Just wasn't paid up, then her yarshim or bum b'shus come. Now this case, where the husband's dead, so that's very simple how she gets a ksuba. She became naman. There's two ways of getting ksuba: either divorce, gerushin, or widow. So in this case, if she got widowed, and she or her inheritors are coming to collect from the Yisraelim, they need to swear, because this that she was exempted from neder shvu is only from him. If she collects the ksuba when he's alive, when she's a gerusha, but in this case where he died, so then she would have to swear and her yarshim. But let's say he writes to her that neder or shvua, an oath and a vow, ainly I don't have, v'loy li yarshim, neither do my yarshim have, v'loy li bam b'shusi, neither those who come in within my rights. What does that mean? That means to say, let's say the husband sells off his estate, and then the woman's coming to collect from the lekuches, which the ksuba has a shibur on the karka, and he sold off, so he doesn't have any rights, he has no money, but his property he sold off is where she wants to collect from. So then he says, neither one of us, not me, not my Yershin, not those who come within my rights who buy from me. We don't have a lecha, not on you, val yoshecha, not on your inheritors, val bam b'shusecha, those who come within your rights. If he said that, then in yochel hashbiyah, then he cannot make her take an oath. Like who? Not he can't make her take an oath. Lo yersham, not his inheritors, val bam b'shusecha, not those who come within his rights. Meaning if he sold off his property, those people, l'kuchas, cannot make her take an oath when she collected the ksuba from them. And that goes on lo yoisa, not her, but lo yoshel, not on inheritors, neither one of them have to take an oath when they come to collect her ksuba. Now, says the Mishnah, concluding this topic, holcha, if let's say this woman that her husband had exempted her from an oath, if she goes mikever bala, from burying her husband, she goes lebeis avia, she goes to her father's house, meaning her husband died, so she goes back to her father's house. Meaning, but the primary idea of that means to say is that she's not engaged anymore in his property. She's not involved in his estate. She goes straight from the husband passed away, she goes to her father's house. Or even if she goes back to her father-in-law's house. But she doesn't become a caretaker anymore after her husband's death, then the inheritors cannot make her take an oath. And the very simple reason is because this is going on the case where he exempted her from ever taking a shvua from anyone, for anyone. But, there's no future here anymore because she stopped being a caretaker when he died. But let's say even after her husband died, she now becomes the caretaker of the estate of the Yarshin, then the Yarshin, the inheritors could make her take an oath regarding the future, meaning of what she did after the father passed away, that she didn't hold on to anything by herself, because now it's not anymore the nechasim of the late husband, it's the nechasim of the Yisraelim. So this that he's letting her off the hook from me and my Yershin and whatever, but that's his property, not his Yershin property. So if she continues being a caretaker after he died, then she will have to take an oath, but they cannot make her take an oath what was meaning when she was engaged when her husband was still alive, because for that, the husband already let them off. It's only what's after that, if she continued being a caretaker, that she would have to take an oath, because it's in the chassan of the Yersha, and they never let her off. Thank you to